Hello, good evening. So let's just start for the other members to come before we start the session for tonight.
And we can start probably at 8:05 just to give leeway for the rest of the guys to come in. But once it hits 8:05, just start already since it's recorded anyway. Okay. While we're waiting, quick announcement for homework 4. So you guys will not be able to do homework 4 unless you have submitted homework 3 because the script that you're going to need to use to create the charts is based on homework 3, right? With additional fields that you'll need to create within Looker Studio to complete the fields that you need to populate all of the charts that you need to make based on the task list. So I am asking you guys to take time, do homework 3 already. If you're already at that point, please do it. Now, if you're already done with homework 3, going on to homework 4, use the script that I had approved or had given you. If there are any edits that needed to be made, use that script, the edited script, because the accuracy of your charts is going to be based on the accuracy of the values produced by the homework 3 script, right, for the main task. Now, there is a extra task or an optional task for homework 3. If you would like to do it, go ahead, take a crack at it. And then that doesn't need to be no, submitted to me in LMS formally. If you want me to check your extra script, your extra SQL script for homework 3, send it to me in Slack. Okay, so we're going to use that as more of a tutor type of material so that you can better understand how to use the operators and the functions that are outlined in homework 3. Okay, clear, guys? So if you have any questions about homework 3 and homework 4, please message me on Slack. I am a message away. I'll do my best to reply to you guys as soon as humanly possible. Okay? Okay, that's it. Um, we can start Siguro already, Tin, so that we can cover as much as we can today.
Okay. So thank you. Now we will be starting our next lesson. So we are now on topic 5. Sorry, topic 8. And today we will be discussing URL. So URL or Uniform Resource Locator is the address of a website page. So for us to be able to get to a website page, we need to either enter the URL or follow a link from another page, and that link will be the URL. So the URL in the browser is constantly changing. So whenever we go to a website, from a website to another website, the URL constantly changes. The URL is consists of several parts. So we have the scheme. The scheme is also called a protocol. So it tells the web servers which protocol to use when it accesses a page on your website. So the most popular scheme that we are currently using is the HTTPS, which stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. So we also have the domain name. So the domain name is divided into three parts. We have the subdomain. So the subdomain determines which content should be displayed. So subdomains vary depending on the types of pages and their topics. Um, Aside from that, we also have a second level domain. So the second level domain is the part of your domain name that represents your business. So for example, the second level domain of Facebook is Facebook. So when we open it, the link or the URL for Facebook, it's usually like www.facebook.com. So the second level domain or the word Facebook is its second level domain. So when you buy a domain, you purchase both a second and the top level domain. So what is a top level domain? A top level domain represents the type of your organization. So for example, on the government agencies, when they have sites, they usually use the top level domain .gov, or with the commercial businesses, they use .com. So that would probably their top level domain is. So again, when you buy a domain, what you are paying for is the second level and the top level domains. So we also have the port. So the port is a reserved channel used for specific purposes. So for example, the default port for standard HTTP server is 80, whereas secure websites that use HTTPS requires a port number of 443. And then after the port, we will have the path to the file. So the path to the file is basically the location of the specific resource on the server after the domain and subdomains. Then after the path, we have the parameters. So the parameters are the values being queried during a search. It is separate. It contains a key and value, which is separated by an equal sign. And if a URL has a multiple parameters, then it would be separated with ampersand. Then after the parameters, we have the anchor. So the anchor represents a sort of a bookmark inside of the resource. So basically, the anchor is like the keyword for the URL where you are going. So the query string is the URL parameters. So the query string begins with the question mark, and then we will have the key one or the first variable name, and then we will have this value separator and its value. So it just basically means that the value of this, for example, of the first variable, which is q1, is equal to value 1. And then if you have multiple variables for parameters, then we will have an ampersand sign as the separator, and then again we can input our second variable and the second value, and so on. So the query string passes technical information. You can pass or store information about where the user is coming from. So for example, the gclead or the Google Click ID is a parameter that is passed to the URL when an ad is clicked. So for example, this link, so I will um, copy this link address and you can access it. So if you access it, you will find the information about Google Click ID. So for the URL encoding, so not all existing characters can be used in a URL. So for example, this URL, I will copy it. I'll just give you a copy as well of this one. So if you copy and paste this one, you will get these characters like this. But when you are able to access this one, it it would actually show you a character of this one, the Ukrainian characters, I believe, instead of this long list of characters. So aside from URL, we also have this what we call the UTM, which is a part of the query string. So the UTM stands for Urshan Tracking Module. So it is a universal way of marking up links. So the UTM is consists of campaign source, campaign medium, and campaign name. So the UTM source or the campaign source contains the name of the advertising platform on which you place the link, such as the Twitter, Google Ads, or a blog. So usually when you use the UTM source, the common accepted values are Google for Google Ads, Bing for Bing Ads, Twitter for Twitter, Facebook for Facebook, Instagram for Instagram, and etc. So the UTM medium, it helps you determine the type of channel from which traffic comes. Did the customer come to your site from contextual pay-per-click advertising or paper impression banner ads or newsletters? So the UTM medium will be the one to tell you that information. Then we also have the campaign name. The campaign name is used for the name of the campaign, product, or keyword. This parameter helps to identify the different campaigns in the statistics. So, for example, you have planned mass email campaigns. So, for example, on Valentine's Day, so you just have to put um, Valentine's Day on your UTM campaign so that um, you will have the keyword to identify what type of campaign are you in. So under UTM parameters, we also have the term. The UTM term parameter helps you identify the keyword that led to the ad being shown. And the UTM content, it helps you distinguish the ads if other parameters match. So for example, um, you have two set of campaigns that have that are like, for example, same product, but they have different contents. So you can use the UTM parameter content to differentiate these two products. So the source, medium, and campaign can be repeated. So for example, on this one, so we have here the different sources, the medium, and the campaign. So for example, we have the source is equal to Google, the medium is organic, and campaign is the product X, and so on. So traffic sources are not necessarily UTM source or medium. So in web analytics, traffic sources are dimensions that are visualized in a report that provides an overview of the sources of traffic to a website. So the types of sources that are commonly used in web analytics are direct traffic. So all those people who find the website by typing the URL all through or through a bookmark. So this are the direct traffic, and then the referral traffics are from the other websites that send traffic to a site. So for example, they can be a result of banners, campaigns, blogs, affiliates, and etc. Then we also have the organic traffic. So they come from search engines such as Google, Yahoo, and Bing, or the others. Then we also have the paid traffic. So they come from PPC and display media such as Google, big ads, Facebook ads, and etc. So we also have this what we call a social media traffic, which are from social networks such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and other social media sites. So how to identify the traffic channel? So for example, for this one, we have here the referrer facebook.com, and the FB click ID is not null, then it's from an ad. And if the referrer is Facebook and the FB click ID is null and the UTM medium also is null, then it is social. So from those examples, we can refer to the first example as a paid traffic through Facebook ads, and the other one is a social media traffic, since it is not in the form of an ad. Okay, so do we have any questions?
So far.
Sorry?
None so far po.
Okay. So now let's proceed to the regular expressions. So the regular expressions actually were also tackled during our discussion on Google Sheets. So this are more likely you are already familiar with this regular expression. So again, a regular expression is a string that describes the rules for comparing or searching a set of strings. So the examples of use of a regular expression is first to check if the string matches the condition. Second is to find a specific part of the string. Third is replace a specific part, and the last is delete a specific part. So during our lesson on Google Sheets, we actually um, were just able to gather just one word per query. So depending on the condition of what you have of what you are searching. So um, that would be the condition, the um, do you call this, a condition on which your regular expression would show. So for example, on the email validation, so for example, you are checking if the string meets the condition, so you are just to select the condition. So for example, you have here example at gmail.com. So in here we have here the separators present to identify which is which when you are querying of a regular expression. So for example, now you are replacing a part of a string. So in this one, so you were basically just querying a select statement, since you are just checking if the string meets your condition. And then for this one, you are replacing a part of a string. So for example, when we need to replace a certain part of the string, for example, in this case, for all Facebook campaigns, we need to reduce the value of the UTM medium to a single value. So we have to query this one. So regular expression underscore replace URL parameters, which is the field, and then the UTM medium CPC. So this is the current value of your URL parameter. So the UTM medium equals CPC, then you want to replace it with UTM medium PPC. So this is how you will be able to replace a regular expression. Or we can also get the part of a string. So for example, we just want to get the UTM medium value from the page URL parameters. So in here, you will just specify your value, and then this expressions will just give you that it is before the ampersand, and this that is where it ends, and this is a word, the plus sign. So this was discussed also during our Google Sheets block, so you are most likely familiar with these symbols. And for a simpler analog of regular expressions, you can simply use the percent sign. So this is what I was talking about the last two sessions, the usage of the percent sign to identify that your condition is that it contains this word that is enclosed with the percentage sign. So in SQL, we also have this what we call the case function or the conditional operator. So the case is a conditional statement like if in some programming languages. So you are also familiar with the function if, which we tackled in Google Sheets block as well. So the purpose is the same. You have a statement, and then if the condition was satisfied, you will return a value, and if not, you will return another value. So it is most often used for aggregation under certain conditions, avoiding division by zero errors, and to replace values. And also we have the coalesce operator, which is used to avoid a null value. So the usage of a coalesce is to set a default value. It is most likely used when working with strings. and it's to convert null to zero for aggregate functions. So if you are avoiding to get a null value, so most probably you can use coalesce function. And then we also have here the SQL functions and procedures. So functions are a way to unify complex operations with variables, and procedures are a way to make transformations using more complex logic. Um, you will be able to understand functions and procedures more when you also understand on how to read a complex SQL script. So usually this functions and procedures has long scripts. So it's better for you to understand first, uh, for you to be able to read first complex SQL scripts before going into creating functions and procedures, because um, they have this certain conditions on how will you write them, and also um, since they are since function is a way to unify complex operations, so you need to really understand on how to read a complex SQL script. So for me, I can say that reading an SQL script is easier than writing. So if you are to expose yourself on different complex scripts, then you will be able to understand the different functions. So the uses of these different functions, from there you will gain the confidence to write. So as for my case, really, um, what I can suggest is read read some complex SQL script, and then from there understand what is the function trying to do, what this script is trying to do, and then if you are able to understand um, what this function is doing with this table, then that is the time that you would really be able to create your own script. So if you really, really want to learn this language, SQL, just expose yourself in reading these functions. And then little by little, expose yourself in writing a more and more complex SQL script. So as for me, um, in this language, I also started reading the SQL functions first. During my first months or first year, maybe in this kind of work. So usually, the script that I will be using is provided by my teammates or our onshore counterparts. And then from there, I was able to understand the different functions, because as I am reading them, then I would be also be able to visualize the outcomes. So from there, I will just track down the scripts of what happened here, why is there a new field in here, so like from this table we don't have this kind of information, um then why is it that we have here now, some things like that. So I was able to understand SQL by exposing myself in reading and studying the SQL script. So of course, it's not really enough to just read the SQL script, because just by reading it you won't actually be gathering anything, because you're just like, okay, so it is written this way. But um if you're able to query it to see the outcome of this um query, then that would be the time that you will able to actually understand this different functions. So I know that this live sessions are not enough for you to fully understand the SQL, but um, as we are showing you something, as we are able to give you some inputs regarding on how you write your SQL scripts on your homeworks, so maximize the opportunity to ask why did your script not accepted, for example, by mentor Angel. It is working, but why is it what do you call this, why is it not accepted? I didn't encounter an error, why is my homework not accepted? So maximize that opportunity to ask mentor Angel. So why is it that you didn't encounter this kind of error, but mentor Angel rejected your work, something like that. So always ask what happened, or is there anything missing from your script. And then if also you encounter an error, and then by looking at your script and by looking at the examples that you are referring to, they are the same. So you could also ask us, mentor Angel and I, um, why is it that you encounter an error wherein it's a given fact that you are looking at a perfect reference on what you are doing. So that those are the things that you have to keep in mind as well. And by asking, it doesn't mean that you don't know what you are doing. So of course you just have to push yourself in doing it by yourself first. But if you need help, we are here to help you, because we also know that SQL is not that easy to learn. So you have different functions to get yourself familiar with. You have different words that you cannot use, like um, when you see an SQL script, it's just you're just like reading something, but when you do it, why can't you do it, something like that. So sometimes when you are familiarized with some of the scripts, some of the functions, you will be like, oh yeah, I know how to do it already. But then when you are trying to construct it, you are like checking the grammar of your English essay, wherein you are really confused on why is it not working, wherein you totally understand what you wrote. So yeah, SQL is just sometimes confusing, wherein sometimes you can see other people using this function perfectly, and then when you are the one to write it, you your database is showing error, and that's normal. Actually, um I can tell you that you will most likely learn from your errors. um from the error that you encounter, that is the time that you will most likely understand on how this function works. At least for me, that's how I was able to familiarize myself with the different functions. Trying it, then encountering the error associated with this function. So when there is a time that I encounter this error, then that is most likely the time that I will get why um, or how do this function really works. So yeah. Mentor Angel, do you have any inputs regarding SQL, learning the language, or how to efficiently write by yourself?
Um, we're just pushing the idea of hashtag discarte. Um, what do I mean by that? Basically, trying to find resources that are going to help you to write better or teach you how to use the various operators and functions in combination with each other, depending on the output that you want. So the first would be definitely any sort of AI platform, as long as you know how to um, give pretext to the platform, then it'll be able to help you quite a bit with learning. Another resource is Stacked Overflow. Um, when I was in school, Stacked Overflow helped me a lot because it is a site that contains anything and everything about the IT industry, specifically writing in SQL, Python, Java, C, C++, so on and so forth. So just look for resources outside of you're already getting from LMS or one-on-one sessions that you have with me or teacher Christine or anyone else that you would have access to that has experience writing SQL queries so that you can learn. Um, Test out what works for you. If it does, then keep doing it. If it doesn't, find something else that works better for you. That's the general advice that I can give you guys with SQL because it is a challenging language to learn, especially if you have zero background in IT overall, because various niches and industries within the IT umbrella use SQL. But for us analysts, it's just really learning and understanding what the operators and the functions do so that you can write really effective scripts that are precise and efficient. Because if you guys do not understand how, for example, common table expressions work, you're not going to get the full benefit of that operator and the functions within it to be able to get the desired output of data that you guys are being asked for. Um, it makes learning easier if you're in the environment like what Christine is in, like a company, because you have a team that already has tenured people who are going to help you out. And more often than not, they'll just give you templates for the scripts because for the most part, you're just updating existing databases. But that's a very good starting point of being able to understand the language a hell of a lot faster. than most people. So I implore you to make sure that you guys get the certificate of completion for the course so that it makes it easier for you guys to find work as a DA within a corporation or a company and start out there. Um, it just makes it a lot easier and a little more fun. I mean, you're getting paid to learn more. So who doesn't like that? So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope that helps. But like we keep saying, we are a DM away, and I am offering the one-on-one sessions. So please take advantage of that. So you'll have the live sessions like this, but um, whenever you guys are available or most available or best available time for each of you or a group of you, let me know so that we can set up a huddle somewhere and we can talk about particular homework that you're stuck in that you guys need help with, so on and so forth. Okay, clear? Did I make
Clear,
sense?
clear,
Okay,
teacher.
that's it for me.
Okay, so thank you, mentor. So now I'm opening the table for questions. Do you have any questions from our topic today or from the other sessions? Ask your questions, and then later on we will be doing the practical part. So do you have any questions regarding the theoretical part, the discussion part?
None for me.
Okay, so if there are no questions, let's take a quick break. So before we proceed to the practical part, let's just have a breather first. Then let's all go back at 8:50 to continue with the practical part. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Okay, so I hope that you are all back. So let us now start with the practical part. Can you see my dbeaver now?
Yes.
Okay. So now we will tackle the different things that we have discussed today. So we are able to discuss regarding the strings. So aside from the like function that we have used um, the last sessions, so we also have this symbol, which is basically like the function like. So for example, we have here the select list from Facebook ads basic daily, where URL parameters contain the word Facebook. So if we are going to check the column URL parameters, we will see in here that it contains the word Facebook. So since it is the Facebook ad, so more likely that the source would be Facebook. So for example, we will have the Google as the source. Then we will have here an outcome of null, because all of our URL parameters contain the source of Facebook. So if we are to query it like the function like, so we will select asterisk from Facebook ads basic daily, where URL parameters like Facebook. Don't forget the um, string identifier, which is, then we will query it. We will have the same outcome. So basically, this like function with the percent sign, it would give you the same function as this one. But without the percent sign, it should work because it's um it's a like function. It's not actually equal to. So that's the difference between using equal to and like again. So um, your equal function must be literally equal to this value, but the like function is that it just shows you that it contains this word. And then we also have the substring function. So when using a substring function, you can select URL parameters, then the substring of the URL parameters, wherein we will start from the first value, then the number of the strings that we will get would be, for example, 10 from Facebook ads basic daily. So that would be it. And then for example, we would like to start on the other part of the string. So for example, I would like to start on 11th string. Then I will just get 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8 characters. So so it starts with the 11th string. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11th is the equal sign. That's why it started in there. So just for formality, let's start with the 12th to get Facebook. So it would start on the 12th string, then it will get the number of strings that you have assigned in here. So that is how you will be able to use the substring function. And then we also have, for strings, we have a concat function. So for example, we have to select campaign ID, and then the clicks, and the concat of campaign ID. And for example, we want to separate it by a space and a number sign. Then we just get the clicks from this table. So in there, so we have here the campaign ID and the clicks, then the concat. So this is the campaign ID. This is the separator that I have assigned, then the number of clicks. So for example, I assigned semicolon as a separator. Can put it in here, then they are separated by the semicolon as a separator. So if you don't want to indicate a separator, it's also fine. Just delete the separator that you have assigned and then you just click it. And then we also have um, the case and the coalesce functions. So let's get another table from here. Facebook. Facebook ad set. And we have the adset ID. Okay. So for example, we want to get the ads- adset ID, then adset name, then we put a case wherein case when your ad set name is equal to travel, then um let's put for example an X, and then we end it as indicator. Oh, just a test. So I am selecting here the ad set ID, the ad set name, and a case that when the ad set name is equal to travel, then we will put an X on our new column test from the table Facebook ad set. Then yes, as we can see in here, um, the value of the ad set name on our column test is X. And then for example, we want to have another value here, like when it's not equal to travel, then let's have another value here, Y. So, mhm. Okay, I have put a comma in there when I am not supposed to. So now, when the ad set name is not equal to travel, then it will return the value Y on our new column test. Then for the coalesce, so the main purpose of coalesce is to for you to be able not to get a null value. So for example, in here we are to select um, URL parameters, then the coalesce of URL parameters, and set a value no URL parameter parameter as sample from this table. So in here, what I would like to get is the URL parameters, then the function keys of the URL parameters, whereas if the URL parameters, it should return no URL parameter on this new field sample. So let's try to run it. So as we can see here, we have here a null URL parameter, but on our sample, it returned a no URL parameter because the goal of Calais is to return your first non-null values from the conditions that you have given. So since the URL parameter of this one is null, and it is used on a Calais function, then it returned a no URL parameter on our new column sample. What's the maximum condition that we can do using case function? Hi, Cherry May. So what do you mean by what's the maximum condition? It is the amount of condition that we can use. Yeah, there is actually no limit in using our case function. So when you are using the case function, you can add as many conditions as you can for as long as you have conditions criteria to satisfy. So for example, in here, we have assigned here if the ad set name is travel then X, then let's try to put other conditions. So when your case as an then X. When ad set name is equal to streaming, then yes. So for example, I'll input another condition. So it will give me the value of S on the streaming since it's the other condition that is satisfied. So if we input another condition here, so we just input another when and then condition and so on. So just to satisfy the criteria that you are about to set. Any other questions?
None so far.
Um, actually, you have to ask. Hello, mentor.
Yeah. Okay. Cherry, just to elaborate on the or add on to the what teacher Christine said. Yeah, you can use as many case functions within your script, but you have to keep in mind, guys, this is a relatively small data set, 37 rows, because it's just the ad set ID and the ad set name, right? But let's say you're working with um, a data set that has quite a bit of information, like um, more than a megabyte, say, like if you see here on the database navigator in the share screen, games activity combined is 2 megabytes, the table size. So that's pretty substantial. The more case um, conditions or functions that you add to your script, so the longer your script is, the longer it's going to take for something like dbeaver to return output. So not unless what you're looking for has to be very explicit, or it was provided to you in a task as for work, that it has to be, you have to meet these specific um criteria and get this specific type of output. Be very, very, very careful with running really long scripts with a lot of cases, multiple selects, so on and so forth, because the time that it's going to give. So if you notice down here, 37 rows fetched, how many milliseconds it took on the date with a particular timestamp. This is pretty common information that you're going to see in SQL platforms. The milliseconds here, so 277 milliseconds, didn't take the program much time. But the longer the script is, that can sometimes turn into minutes, or sometimes can turn into hours. So when you hit execute, you literally have time to cook lunch, or grab a cup of coffee, take a bathroom break, or what may have you, because your system is having a very challenging time pooling all of the resources to be able to complete the execution of the script. Okay, so you just have to keep that in mind, guys, because especially if you're working in companies where you're dealing with really large databases and you're working with a team and other departments, so your um, database administrator, so on and so forth. You gotta be a little careful, okay? Yan lang. Thank you.
Yes, I agree with that statement. And as your data increases, it also takes time to execute a script. So not just on the length of your script, not just on the numbers of your conditions, but also on the number of data that you have. So it is actually based on that, um, on how long will it take for your script to execute, especially when you are um, using your tables, when you are using join conditions on different tables. Then you have really like hundred thousands or even millions of data. So it's still hard for the databases to just execute it in just a second or few milliseconds. Okay. So another thing, so when we are assigning, when we are using cases, we can also add a few cases in one output. So for example, in here, um, add set name is equal to travel, or we can add a condition here that, or add set name is equal to lifestyle. Then let's test this one. So on the ad set name lifestyle, it also included the it also had an output of X, since we used here an operator or. So we also have to be careful in using this kinds of operator, the or and end. So the operator or, it's either of the two, and the operator and, it just that it has to satisfy both of the conditions. So for example, in here, I will use end and then get the ad set ID of this one. So, so given that the ad set name is travel and the ad set ID is this one, then it shall return the value X. So as you can see, the lifestyle here is Y again because we removed it from these conditions. So for example, the ad set ID must be this one. So since we are using here end function, it appeared as Y because the ad set name is travel, but the ad set ID is under streaming. So that would be the difference between using and or on your operators. So when you have like a lot of fields, just like this, you call this table, so you can still add more conditions to test for yourself on how this case function is running. And then what other functions do we have here? Mhm. Do you have any questions, or maybe you want to you want to query a sample condition, given that you also have the access on this database, so you can access all the you can access the tables that I can access. So if you want to try a condition, let's try it in here. So okay, Facebook. It's just for other fields that you can use. So for example, I have select campaign ID, then let's add date, campaign ID, and then the value. Then we select a case when add date is equal to for example this one, able to copy. So if the add date is equal to this one, then For example, let's get the sum of spend else null as and as test from this table. Okay, so we are about to select the add date, campaign ID, the value, and the column test, wherein we have a case when the add date is 2021 11/30, then we get the sum of the spend from our table Facebook ads basic daily. Anyway, so we have to group them by or to aggregate them. Add date, campaign, campaign ID. Okay, so when we have the case 2021 11/30 by order by add. Okay, so let's just use this one instead to visualize 2020 11/11. So we have here the sum of the spend on this date. So it's just like when you are using the case, it's not always a direct value that you can assign. So it can be another function, another formula that you want to use for as long as you are following the correct usage of this function. And also, when we are using the case when and the coolest function, we have to put a comma before them because they are part of the select statement. So when we forgot to include the comma before the case, then we will encounter an error. So for example, in here, it's a syntax error near when because we were not able to we forgot to put the comma in this value because basically this is also a this case is a select statement for the column test. So when we rerun this one, we will get the same. Any other questions? If you don't have questions, so let's go over your homework for this topic. Just want to be clear, does anyone have a question? Or is everything clear? Hello guys. Can
Clear.
you hear me? Okay, thank you. So now we have here on your homework. So you have to apply operators to work with strings and use conditional statements and operators to work with missing values. Okay, so we will be using the tables Facebook ads, basic daily, Facebook ad set, Facebook campaign, and Google Ads basics daily. So in a CTE query, combine the data from the above tables. Okay, I'll just reshare and show you the homework. Can you see your homework now?
Yes po.
Okay. Okay, so you just have to combine the ad dates that are from Google and Facebook, then the URL parameters, and then the spend, impressions, reach, clicks, values. Okay, so do you have an idea now on how will you able to combine the ads from Google and Facebook? So basically in here you will be adding the data itself instead of the fields. So from our previous discussions, what function that does that? Anyone? So what functions can we use to combine data rather than the fields? Final answer, Marisi.
Fields, guys. So fields will be your columns. So which operator would you use to combine them? Join. Correct. Now, I would suggest that you guys read up on the various versions of join so that you have a better idea of what is going to best apply to your script, right? So just to be clear, even though it's broken down in the tasks step by step are broken down with 1 and 2, right? That this is still all of this is still going to appear as one script, right? Very rarely, guys, are you going to experience SQL scripts that are very short and sweet, not unless it's like a select everything from a particular table to do a particular inspection of what the values are going to be like if you're dealing with null values or a lot of them, or if you're dealing with a lot of um, typos. There's some data sets they're going to be receiving that have uh, typos. So you're going to need to be able to either filter those out so that you can write a script to be able to fix typos, or uh, anything specific that's within a task list that's given to you. Right? So you have to remember that. So again, number 1 and number 2 within the task list for the main task is going to appear as one entire script. Clear?
Clear po.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay, so any other questions? So the homework again is just the acceptance criteria, I think, is understandable. Or do you read anything here that is um, confusing for you? Take this chance to ask away. Or if you don't have any questions on this part yet, maybe you also have questions from your previous homeworks. You can also ask now because we still have roughly around 30 minutes to finish the session. So questions regarding the topics discussed or questions regarding your homework, please ask and maximize our remaining minutes.
Okay po.
Sorry.
Ah, nag-aasikaso pa rin ng homework. Or
Mm-hmm.
may part is question lang. May part kasi ako na hindi ko magets sa homework or yung pagdating ng chart. Kasi paano ko ba i-explain to? Kasi pinapalo ko yung I just follow the instruction given,
Mm-hmm.
line graph with the number of active campaigns in each month and a display. And I'm not sure if I'm doing it right.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just share a screenshot.
Okay.
I'm trying to do the horizontal axis by months, but I can't edit or modify. I send a screenshot. Do you see mentor?
Okay. Yeah, yeah, I can see the screenshot
Yeah,
now.
one minute. I'm just looking it over. Ah, okay. So it's showing the specific dates
Yes, instead of months.
instead of months. Wait. For that specific line chart, um, because what should be in the vertical will be your count of campaigns. So campaign count, and then the dates should be just in months, the month and the year. So what I'm thinking is you may have to add a custom field for the dates, um, extracting from add date the month and year so that it's another field or what's also called as a measure that can be used for the charts. So just like I showed you kanina, Alex, during our one-on-one session, how to create an additional field. You just
Yes.
have to plug in the formula for um, extract so that you can extract just the month and the year so that you can use that for the combo chart for the bar and line, which is A, and then the line graph 3B. That's the quickest um, way to be able to get that specific data to appear on the chart. Because if you do add date, it's really going to show you month, day, year because that's how it's formatted, right?
Yes.
With the table. So add another field using add date, but extract just the month and the year. And then that field
Uh,
is what you're going to use
for A and B.
yeah, for 3A and 3B. That would be the quickest way to do it.
Uh, thank you.
Yeah, the filtering, Ernesto, I know it's a little tricky, but I did send over some material about it. Um, if you guys need what I sent Ernesto via DM, you can just ask him to send it to you or send me a DM. I'll just copy paste it and send it to you guys as well. These are the quickest references that I could find that was the most complete in terms of adding um, filters in Looker Studio. It's very limited to say the least because it's a cloud platform, so it's not something that's installed locally on your PC. So it's a little more challenging to add the filter itself. But I hope it helps. You guys have time naman for this to be able to complete the assignments because the calendar in LMS has already been updated. So deadline for topic or for homework 3 is on the 24th. So that's on Wednesday. And the deadline for homework 4 is on Friday of this week. So you guys have still quite a bit of time to to figure it out. Any other questions, guys? Guys, question for homework 3. Why we need add the table name?
Homework 3.
Okay. The table names for your common table expression. Why is it needed? Because when you're doing CTEs, you have to be very specific because you have multiple tables, right? So in this case, you have 3 Facebook tables and 1 Google table to work with. If you're going to leave it generalized, it's just a column name, and then you state within your CTE clause that it's just from this table, even though you specify the join, um, the conditions for the join operator, it's technically not going to give you back the precise information that the query or the homework is asking for, or the task in general, whichever or wherever you're doing the task. The reason why we're also pushing for you guys to complete the table, so that's let's say for Google Ads, DBver is going to abbreviate that as GABD, right? So let's say GABD dot spend, right? Or for Facebook campaign, that's FC. So FC dot reach. The more specific you are with your um, labels for where you're getting the column from, so whichever table, like this, in this case, you have multiple, it's best that you apply it, because if you get into the habit of creating your scripts without the precision and the specificness that the language requires, it's also going to make it harder for you to work in a team. It's going to make it harder for you to give back the exact output that is needed or being asked for. Um, so that will mainly apply if you're freelancing for the most part. But again, we're trying to get you guys into the better habits of writing the scripts correctly that are internationally um, accepted. Because if you guys go to another, or if you guys, let's say, work for a company remotely, like let's say what teacher Christina and I are doing for Go IT, and we interact with the data analytics team within the international team, and we need to, let's say, calibrate. And let's say teacher Christina and I did not really want to be specific, and we wrote our scripts with, let's say, a CTE as the first clause of the script, and we didn't follow international standards, kami yung mabubulyawan. And second, they're gonna look down on us because they're gonna think that these guys don't know what they're doing, right? That's why if you guys get into the unhealthy habits of writing your scripts very incomplete, then you guys are not going to be considered important enough to keep, and you're very replaceable. That's one thing that you guys have to understand in any field or any type of employment that you get within the IT industry. You are very replaceable because there's so many of us. So the minute you bump up your quality, the minute you pay attention to detail, the more that you are going to be considered an asset by and with whoever you work with, and the more that they're going to, let's say, they know of somebody that needs a data analyst for a short-term project and make it freelance because they only have a limited budget, and they'll say, you can get this person. I know this person graduated the data analytics course from Go IT, and they're really good. They pay attention to details, so on and so forth. You see how a very simple thing can have a cascading effect later on. That's why Carissa, that I'm pushing that you guys use the correct um formatting of the language so that anywhere you go in the world, whoever employs you will want to keep you employed. And the more that they want to keep you employed, the more money you make, right? And that's the end goal of all of this, is to upskill so that you can make money. Okay. And let's say that you want to up your premium and get a higher salary, do well wherever you're currently at. And then when you put yourself out in the market that you're looking for more work, you now automatically have every right to raise your premium at least 20-25% from what you're already currently getting, right? So let's say you're earning $350 a month doing remote data analytics work for company A. And you said, yeah, I got what I needed from company A. I feel that it's time to move on. And you put yourself out there, let's say in LinkedIn, company B is going to see you and say, oh, hey, I like what I see. They interview you, so on and so forth. Down the line, they'll say, hey, we want to hire you. So you can automatically ask for at least 20, 20% additional. So you get 20% of $350. That's going to be your new premium moving forward. And you just can just keep doing that the more that you gain experience, right? Okay, clear, Carissa, why I'm asking for it? Clear, guys?
Yes, mentor. Thank you.
Yes po.
Just to add
Um,
as well, sorry, mentor, on what mentor Angel is talking about. I actually have a personal experience of this kind of problem because once we are assigned to do an analysis of the entire script, it's really really complex. It's like 1,000 lines, and on that script, um, one of the fields is not specified on where table it came from. Then we have there joined like not less than 7 tables. So I have to go through, or maybe not just 7. They're not less than 10. There are not less than 10 tables on that particular script, and a few thousand lines. And then this one field that I am trying to look for, since it is not specified on which table it came from, I really, really had a hard time backtracking, analyzing the script, because I have to first solve on where this important field came from. So what mentor Angel is saying is really, really accurate. That if you are creating a CTE, even if they are not ambiguous columns, it's still important for you to specify on which table this field is coming from, because things like that really happen. Oh yeah, just a little backstory of one of the hardest things I have to make, because it really took me a while on where to get this kind of information from all of these tables, from all of these lines that are available in this certain SQL script. So yeah.
so there, that's case in point of what I'm trying to say. Um, and let's say that you're working in a team and that happens and they trace back the composer of the script to you, you're automatically going to get some sort of disciplinary action and probably even a written warning or something that goes against your uh 201 file, which is your corporate file, and that gets shared with everybody. Okay, that's information that can be requested by a future employer when they do a background check on you, because in most cases, companies that will hire anybody in IT will do very, very extensive background checks. So it's like entering the finance niche of the BPO industry. So for the guys who are in the BPOs, you know what I'm talking about in terms of how strict their background checks are. So, that's going to be a detail that can go against you, right? Um, you have to understand, guys, that what we want as your mentor and teacher, and Go IT in general or overall, we just want you guys to be really, really prepared, or as best as we can get you prepared with whatever you need, so that when you get out into the workforce, you guys are going to be quality data analysts. Time and time again, I will keep saying it, that there are a lot of us. There are a lot of us. Over a couple of million analysts. Okay, that's not including the scientists, that's just the analysts in the world. And you have guys within that number who are cross-trained in various other things, or various other niches within the IT industry. So they're powerhouses already to begin with, just with their skill sets, right? So you have your programmers, you have your quality assurance, you have your full stack guys, so on and so forth. We just want the best for you, so that you're able to transition into this world and be able to really make a career out of it, that you're going to be very, very comfortable in terms of what you can take home at the end of the day, at the end of the month, at the end of the year. Plus, the bonuses are not that bad. If your company is inclined to give you guys bonuses at the end of the year, that's not including 13 months. 13-month only applies if you're working for a Philippine company. But let's say you're working for an international company, like what Christine and I are doing now. There's no 13 months, so you have to remember that. Don't expect, curb your expectations. But like I said, if let's say you meet certain metrics and they really like the quality of your work, they're not going to think twice about giving you bonuses. Okay, so just keep in mind, guys, that we want the best for you, so that when you do get out there, you're going to be part of the better set or best set of analysts that people can hire, people can employ, and they'll get the best benefit for everybody that's part of that company, so on and so forth. Clear? Are we good?
Yes
You're
po.
understanding what I'm saying? Okay,
Clear,
good.
clear. Totally understand.
Any other questions, guys? About any of the homeworks, even block one, because there's some of you guys that, well, not here in the room, but there are some of you guys that are still lacking with the block one assignments. Yo, Gian, what about homework 5?
Hello, mentor teacher. Ah, just ano lang po, confirmation to be sure. Kasi I know from last time when there's an advice, use the function. But for this case, can we use other uh that was discussed for the string function.
You're referring, Gian, to the advice after number two.
Yes.
Use the substring function with a regular expression.
Yes.
No. Whenever you see something like this in your task list, I would suggest that you stick to it because
Okay.
um, with what I have to work with to be able to approve your assignments, it's
Okay.
built in already.
I
So they are
understand.
expecting that you guys are going to be able to um, use, like, let's say, the substring function. Now, let's say if it is something like um, the second bullet point at the end of it, it says at the same time, do not use where but avoid division by zero error by using the case operator. So, unlike the previous homeworks, so that's two specifically, where we used where to negate the division by zero error.
Yes.
With this particular assignment, they're asking you guys to use a different strategy, which is using the case operator, which is very doable.
Mm.
There have actually been a few of you that with homework two had actually done this already. Okay, where you use case, combined it with when and end. END, not AND. END. Edward, Nepal, Denver. Okay. There's some of you guys that had already used this. So very doable because some of your scripts already contained it. Now, yeah. I hope that answered your question, Jin, because in cases like this, if they specify it already, do your best to follow it because if you don't hit like these very little details, I am forced to reject the assignment and make you guys rework it until you get it on point, right? But given that you guys are learning the language from scratch, I am going to be a little more lenient than I was in block one, where block one was really basic. That was super easy. This one is a little more complicated. So I don't know if most of you have noticed that I've actually been quite lenient with the homeworks thus far for block two. And that's going to continue until about block five, because it is just going to get a little more challenging every platform that we transfer to. But this early on, um, do expect the leniency and a lot more um, pointing you in the right direction because uh how should I say it? The variations within SQL as a language is a lot that there are a lot of ways to skin this particular cat or peel this particular potato. Okay. But what GoIT is asking for specifically has to be met as best as possible so that I am going to be within my power to approve the assignment so that you can move forward. Cool? We clear?
Yes. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. Any other questions, guys, before we wrap everything up for tonight?
Wala na po.
Going once? Okay. Alam ko naman, Alex, na kapag meron, hindi ka magdadalawang isip na magtanong kung may right bet ba nito. All right.
Um,
So with that, um, Christine, do you have anything else to add? No more na.
No, nothing else na po.
Okay. So with that, guys, thank you for another 2 hours that we spent together. I hope we were able to clarify a lot of things today. Again, just a reminder, if you have any questions for either of us, please just send us a DM on Slack. Okay. And as long as it is not within the hours of uh, sleepy time, then we'll do our best as humanly possible to get back to you guys and answer your questions. Alrighty. So
And
with
that's
that,
for
have a good
me.
night.
And that's for me. If it's not early morning, you can ask away.
Yeah. Christine's is a vampire. I am a werewolf. Okay. I like the daytime. Christine likes the nighttime. So yeah, you have your choices. Okay. So
Okay. Noted.
uh, with that, guys, thank you again for tonight. We will see you on Wednesday, and you guys have a good night. Babu.
Thank you. Thank you guys. Good night.
Thank
Thank
you.
you po. Good
Thank
night.
you.
Thank you po.